Hi, Kyle.
Hi, Stephen. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
I'm great. Happy to be talking to you. Thanks for taking the time today.
Indeed, let's make some radio.
Let's do some radio. I know there's a lot going on, but I think specifically what we're talking about right now is you're taking the moment to look back and celebrating the 20th anniversary of that humongous debut that you guys had. I don't know. I mean, I guess you probably have never been able to escape these songs, but do you get a sense of I don't know, the look back, the nostalgia, the peek into whatever mindset you were in 2 decades ago?
Not really, and nor do I feel nostalgic. We actually just did this Shaky Knees Festival in Atlanta, and we're playing a gig in North Carolina at the end of the week, so we decided to stay in Atlanta. And I'm actually spending all week really just trying to write this new album so that we can get it out in time for the summer. So I'm completely enraptured and involved in the present tense. So it's really only in that mindset that I look at this first record and say, you know, it's still in rotation, and that's noteworthy. That's about as nostalgic as I am.
I mean, it was such a huge record, though. Like, I listen to it, you know, every few years now and again, whenever it comes up and everything. But I don't think I'd realized, like, almost half that record were singles.
Well, yeah, radio wanted to make more singles, but our radio station thought, our record company thought, oh, you know, maybe that's too much, which I don't understand.
Well, as I look back on that, though, I mean, you guys tackled so many big issues, and you've done it since, too, you know, over and over and over. But I look at that one, and, you know, hard drugs, suicide, just to name two. It was kind of curious. Did you ever feel like you weren't taken as seriously?
Don't forget rape. Don't leave out rape.
It's all there.
And bullying.
That's what I'm saying. Like, the content was so heavy. Did you feel like people sort of passed that over as part of the band? Because, you know, otherwise they were really catchy songs as well.
No, radio did. No, radio did, because radio likes catchy tunes, which is great, because I like catchy tunes too. But Third Eye Blind, the reason why it continues to resonate is, I think, is because there's just sort of an evolving, there's new generations of people, of kids who get the sort of emotional dent that Third Eye Blind's music speaks to. So I don't think that you have to engage the specific subject matter of the lyric to have it speak to you.
And like I said, I mean, you continue that throughout your career, and you still do it. I mean, last year's EP with Cop versus Phone Girl.
Yeah.
I guess I get the sense you've never been really much for just the boy meets girl style of song.
Well, no, because I think that, like, the sort of the impact of relationships, that's the thing that, like, leaves it. I basically write things based on, like, emotional impact and things that leave a dent on me. And a lot of times that's relationships, and a lot of times that's, like, you know, I'm exploring my heterosexual viewpoint of trying to understand relationships from that perspective mostly. That's kind of like the viewpoint that's outlook that I'm looking at, and I've achieved no understanding whatsoever, so I keep looking. So, no, I think that the impacts of relationships are still there.
You'll have to clarify this, because as I look at, you know, what you've been writing lately, especially with that last EP, and what happened with, you know, the critical readdress of the band after the RNC thing, which was amazing, and I loved reading all about that.
I took it easy on him. Yeah.
But that seems like that's sort of where your head's at right now. You know, after all these things you've tackled in the past, is it more of a political thing? Because obviously that's what's on a lot of our minds. I'm reading the news right up until you called me today, so it's...
Right? I mean, you can't stop. You're like, I know that your thumb is all messed up from tapping around on Twitter right now. It's just how it is. We're on pins and needles right now, because it's the strangest thing. It's like, you know, it looks like we have a Russian operative in the White House. Like that seems to be pretty clear, and your senator, Mitch McConnell, is okay with it. He's really complicit in treason, and he seems to be all right with it. He's a really terrible, terrible person, and you guys got to get together and get Mitch McConnell out of the Senate. He's a self-serving, absolutely hypocritical, complicit in treason individual who has no care about the norms of American political system. Let's just call it as we see it. He is bad news.
Yeah, we've been,
you know?
I mean, luckily Louisville is, the blue spot, unfortunately, in the red state. So,
I know you guys are the Austin of Kentucky.
We really are, and we've thought
You're
that
the
many
San
times.
Francisco of Kentucky. I know.
Yeah, it's
And
something
you
we've
will
been trying, but
always have Muhammad Ali. So it's like you just win every time. There's no way you can't win.
yeah, we got John Yarmouth in the house, so it's at least going a little bit in that direction. But
that's a big plus. And I'm in Atlanta right now, and trying to volunteer for John Ossoff, who's running for the Georgia 6th.
Yeah.
So
that's what I love
it
hearing.
doesn't really matter. I have a lot of Republican friends. It doesn't matter if you're Republican or a Democrat. This isn't about any of those issues at all. Like I don't really care about the partisan stuff very much. What I'm talking about is the basic unraveling of the United States is happening right now. We're slipping into authoritarianism, and if people don't know what that means, you should really look it up because it's going on. It's kind of incredible, and that's why people who are woke to this are constantly absorbed in it.
So I hope you don't mind me pulling this back around as we're here to the music.
Sure.
Is this what I should expect from this album that you're working on?
No. When we play, we just played at Shaky Knees. When I play live, it's really about a collective experience, and it's about people coming together around that gathering point of music. So that's really what I care about there. It's about creating fellowship. And that's a non-political moment. Mm-hmm. That's an emotionally connective moment. But if you put a microphone in front of my face, as you're doing right now, and ask me what I think, then I'll say what I think.
Yeah.
But when we play live, it's really about how we feel, and it's about creating feeling. And sometimes those feelings are really fierce, but it's about the emotional landscape that we're really talking about. Even when they're sort of outwardly, even when it's things that are sort of out in social space and not internal emotional issues, it's still about the emotional response to them. And I think when I make records, it's not an intellectual process at all. Mm-hmm. They're totally two different processes. So I just kind of open a vein and let it bleed, and and just try to be an honest conduit to that sort of feeling and that's kind of coming down. And so it's actually not political.
Well, I'm looking forward to hearing that. I didn't know about the new record on in the works anyway, so that's really exciting as well. Sticking out,
yeah, it's in the works,
quick
and
after the last
we have to make it because we start our tour June 9th, and then I gotta hurry up.
Right.
This is we're talking about this to have a record that has stayed current in a way for 20 years mm-hmm. is quite a thing. I'm not blasé to that, and that's why we've never done this before. We've never played a record in its entirety. Mm-hmm. We played We Are Drugs when we put it out in a club in London once. I guess we did that. We played the whole EP. But this summer we're going to play that whole album, and we'll probably never do it again. We're not going to do it in the fall. We're not playing Louisville proper, so you have to drive to Indiana if you want to come to the show. But yeah. I love it when people road trip to Third Eye Blind shows. I think it's just the greatest thing.
I was at the Bonnaroo show, so I've seen you.
Oh,
somewhat recently. I know it's been a couple years.
Wasn't that a trip?
That was
good. Crazy.
I spent at least the first 5 minutes trying to figure out your outfit, but it was a cool outfit.
Oh, it's this Rick Owens thing, and he actually noticed me wearing it. He's like, "Wow, you had the sand to wear that outfit." It's just clothes, man.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Well, I will ask one more about this one. Then you're talking about playing it front to back. Are you also doing the unreleased songs, B-sides, and all that in the set, or is it just the album?
Yeah, we're trying to figure that out. So I think. There was a song called All Right, Caroline that almost made the first record, but all the sort of what fits and what doesn't fit, it didn't go on the record. And that's on this sort of these extended B-sides that are going out with the 20th anniversary of our first record. And we might play that one live. Yeah.
It's a great song.
We might play some other obscure songs. Thanks. Well, it's funny. It's like I never finished the second verse was the big problem. and if I can't finish a lyric, I just can't do the song. So it just stalled, and then like, you know, all these years later, we went into this recording studio in Brooklyn, this just little kind of super vibey, dumpy spot, and we tracked that song really, and we tracked it really fast and rough. And at that point, I was like, I've got to finish these lyrics. So I actually did, and so there you have it. All right, Caroline.
No, all week. I mean, since it's gone up online and everything, I've had it on, so I really do enjoy it. And if there's more that's going to be on it, I can't wait to hear that as well. I don't know if there's any more like that, or if it's just the other stuff has been out there. But
nope, there's a couple more tracks coming out.
Awesome. Well, is this something you want to do also with like Blue? And you know, 2 years away from that one, I guess.
No, I'm never doing it again. No, this is it.
This is it.
We're going to go out and play. We're going to play that first record. We're going to play a bunch of songs. It's going to be, you know, a whole night of music. But we are, at some point, going to play that whole first record start to back. And no, I'm not going to do that again. Just this summer.
Right. Well, cool. Well, Stephan, it was really great talking to you. And I'll make the trek up to Indianapolis for you guys.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing you. Thanks for having me on your show.
All right. Take care, man.
Bye.
Bye.